I'm going to turn this over to Julia Johnson, our Women United Chair.
So good afternoon and welcome to our first Health and Wellness workshop under the Lead Her series. So here's an overview of today's event. I will provide the welcome. Lauren will discuss Women United's mission, programs, and volunteer opportunities. Erica will discuss Engagement Committee's objectives and events. Christina will discuss health and wellness events. Christine, our guest speaker, will conduct the workshop and Q&A, and Christina will close out the event. Next slide, please. So I am Julia Monique Johnson, and I am the chair of Women United. Rachel George is my vice chair, and Lauren Pereira is the Women United manager. So I've been a member of Women United since 2015, when people roamed the earth without masks, and there were no birthday parades, no homeschools ran by working adults, or virtual happy hours. I joined Women United for the volunteerism opportunities. Through my philanthropic work with a variety of organizations, my passions are racial equity, being an ally for the LGBTQ community, supporting women's quest for financial stability, and equal educational opportunities for all children. During my tenure as chair, my focus will be servitude leadership. My goal is to have members engaging, developing, and inspiring the community, as well as leading a legacy of change that benefits everyone. Within this group of dynamic women, there are opportunities for monetary donations, sweat equity, and trailblazers. We are not just fundraisers. As a collective, we empower each other to use our passions, ideas, and expertise to help women and families in our community achieve financial success. Fundraising is the conduit to ignite change, and empowerment is the catalyst. I'm very excited about today's workshop. In turbulent times, it is challenging to take care of others while you are depleted yourself. It reminds me of a quote by Susie Orman, who I love, by the way, where she says, "I simply want you to give to yourself as much as you give of yourself." To be supportive to my family, friends, and colleagues during the roller coaster that is 2020, I take an hour each day to reclaim my Zen, where I do either yoga, running, meditation, or whip out my crayons and color in my adult coloring book. It's an hour to focus on relaxation and mindfulness, so I can face the remainder of 2020 with grit and grace. I'm looking forward to finding my Dharma today, and I will now turn it over to Lauren.
Thank you, Julia. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Pereira, and I am the Women United manager here at United Way. I came to this role in January, but I have spent my career working to support programs that benefit women. I am passionate about access to healthcare and mental health care for women. I am also passionate about providing women with the opportunity to be financially stable, thrive in their communities, and have the life they desire and deserve. Many of you are already Women United members, and I thank you for your continued support. If this is your first Women United event, welcome, and please reach out to me with any questions. As Women United, we are diverse and passionate women seeking to create lasting change in the lives of women and children in the Hartford region. Larger than ever before, as a force of over 1,200 strong, we are in a prime position to put our collective passion, ideas, expertise, and resources to great use. Our primary focus is economic mobility. We seek to impact the lives of local women by fundraising for programs that provide life-changing direct services, such as job training, developing budgets, debt reduction, building savings, increasing income, and career coaching. We know that when women succeed, families and children succeed. To find out how you can be part of our virtual volunteer opportunities, click on the link in the chat. This includes United Way Year of Caring community needs-based activities, donating towards Stuff the Bus, to get students the supplies they need learning from home, or by distributing meals to those in need this summer. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me to learn how you can become a Women United member or how you can deepen your engagement as a member. You can also learn more about our Women on our Women United webpage, which is also in the chat. Thank you all for joining. And now you will hear from Vice Chair of our Women United Engagement Committee, Erica Dean.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much, Lauren. And I'm so glad to be here this afternoon. My name is Erica Dean. I am currently serving as Vice Chair of the Engagement Committee, and I've been working with Women United since 2016. I also had the distinct honor of being co-chair of Power of the Purse in 2017, and just love this organization. I'm excited to be here as the Vice Chair of the Engagement Committee. And part of what I'm really passionate about in working with Women United is, in my daytime, in my role, I work on inclusion and diversity. And how do we all show up as our authentic selves, whether we're bringing our authentic selves to work or whether we're doing that outside with our passions and what we love and what we offer to the community. And that's where this organization is so important and so powerful. I was thinking about what Julia said earlier. I love it. How do we inspire, empower one another, and make sure that we're leaving a legacy of change? And we're starting that by today. So I am Vice Chair with Jan Turner, as you'll see on this page, who is the Chair of the Engagement Committee, and I'm so grateful to be working with her. And then of course, our dynamic Health and Wellness Committee that's bringing this event to you today, Rachel George serving on that, Christina Lampierre, and Sandy Perillo-Simmons. So I'm thankful for what they've done today. If we go to the next slide, what I'd like to do is take a few moments to just cover with you the impactful events that we have for you this year, that we're hoping you will engage with us in doing that. Our mission is to make sure that we're attracting, engaging, and deepening the relationships with you as our members, while we're ensuring that we help support United Way in the achievement of their goals. And so when you look at this year, we have from July 2020 to June 2021, what I think is a jam-packed full calendar. So starting off by today with the Lead Her series in August. We don't have anything in September, but we're gonna follow up in October with what will be a celebration of the 10th anniversary of Women United. So we're creating something that's cocktails and conversations, where we're looking to talk about the history of Women United, the work that we've done, and what we want to achieve for the future. So please join us for that event. I'm excited about that event in October. November, we'll bring to you our second Lead Her series with Wellness and Health. Then we'll roll into the holidays, and then we'll kick off the calendar year in January with our 8th annual Red, White, and Chocolate event. In February, we'll be bringing you the third Lead Her series, followed up by March with our Women United Members Breakfast. Then in April, we'll roll into our annual Fashion, Philanthropy, and Fun. And that's always been used to help kick off kind of the countdown for our Power of the Purse event in June. But before we hit the Power of the Purse event, in May, we'll have our last Lead Her series for you. And then that will all lead up to June, our event. So that will be our 10th annual Power of the Purse luncheon and silent auction. So again, we're looking forward to this year. We're hoping that you'll fully engage and be a part of what we think will be an exciting year for us. And then if we go to the next slide, I have an exciting opportunity for those of you that may be interested. We've spoken a little bit about our 2 signature events. We have our 8th annual Red, White, and Chocolate, and we're looking for co-chairs for that event. You know, I will say that right now, given the dynamic of the country and what's happening with COVID, all of our events now are planned to be virtual until further notice. So we will keep close to you with that. We'll make sure we're communicating with you as members and let you know that. But right now we're planning for a virtual event and need co-chairs to help us think through and imagine and envision what that event could be like. You'll see a picture of our co-chairs from last year, Julie DeLuca Collins and Lisa Cameron for Red, White, and Chocolate. And then for our Power of the Purse luncheon, our co-chairs, Rachel George and Tisa Rabin Marshall. We need co-chairs for that event as well. So please give it some thought. If you're ready to roll up your sleeves and really help us dig in and make these 2 events the successful events that they always have been, we'd like to hear from you. So please send that to Lauren. She just spoke, so she would be interested in hearing from you if you would like to be a co-chair of one of those 2 events. So thank you for the time. I'm looking forward to our session today. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Christina.
Thank you, Erica. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to introduce our featured speaker today, Dr. Christine Dombrowski. She is a mindfulness and spiritual teacher, mentor, and author. She has conducted mindfulness workshops for Eastern Connecticut State University, University of Hartford, the New Haven School District, the Connecticut Council for Language Teachers, and smaller, more intimate workshops at spiritual centers around Central Connecticut. Her latest work is a chapter in the collaborative book project called The Great Pause, Blessings and Wisdom from COVID-19, entitled How to Trust Your Body and Find Your Truth, coming out next month. So please welcome Christine Dombrowski.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank, I am so honored to have been chosen to be part of this Women's Wellness Workshop. I think it's so important, the work that you all are just amazing, and the passion and the energy that you put into it is inspiring. I think it's really important, though, that when you do all of this output and this outpouring of your love and energy and this giving of yourself, that you find some time to kind of center in and reconnect. So like Julia said, there's lots of ways of doing it, from coloring to taking a walk to meditating. And that's what I want to share with all of you today, is to do a few things that are really the core of mindful practice, and to show you that it doesn't take very much time. But I think first we're going to start with the first slide, and I just want to talk a little bit about what mindfulness is. So this is a definition by John Kabat-Zinn, and he is the founder of MBSR, which is mindfulness-based stress reduction. He actually started this back in the late 1970s. He is a faculty member and doctor at the UMass Medical School. And his definition of mindfulness is the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally, in the service of self-understanding and wisdom. I think we hear the term mindfulness a lot. It's kind of thrown around by a lot of people. And usually the impression that I get when I start speaking about mindfulness and how I live my life mindfully is that I think people feel that they are actually living mindfully, when in reality, we are always being drawn away, distracted from our lives, the present moment, our thoughts, our emotions, our hearts. And what mindfulness really is that we're taking some time to direct our attention back to ourselves. And so I highlighted the key points to this definition, because I wanted us to really hone in and focus in on these aspects. So the first one is paying attention. Paying attention means that in this moment, you are checking in with your thoughts, with your emotions, with what's going on around you, what's happening in your body, and it's really honoring that. And you want to do that purposefully. This workshop is about that, finding the purpose in living mindfully, in that you want to take care of yourself. You want to live your best life. You want to be able to give back to the world in the ways that you want to, without being blocked because you're dealing with stress and anxiety. You're dealing with emotions that are overwhelming you. You're dealing with a mind that is full of thoughts that are so chaotic and overwhelming that at times you can't find focus You want to be in the present moment. This one's really key. This came to me, and especially during the pandemic and during the quarantine, because so anxiety and worry are all about taking us out of the present moment and either projecting into the future what we think might happen or going and rehashing the past of what has happened. And so being in the present moment really means having to release those thoughts and those stories that we tell ourselves and just see where we're at in this moment. And checking in during the quarantine for me really allowed me to see that in this moment, I was okay, the people that I loved were okay, that I was managing in the present, and that the next step and the next moment I could do the same thing. I could check in, see where I was, and make choices from there. Non-judgmentally, I think, is a really overlooked aspect of mindfulness. And this really comes to the point of not about necessarily judging others, it's about judging ourselves. So the core of this is about loving ourselves. So if I'm feeling anxious or stressed out in a moment, I don't need to judge that as feeling the wrong way, that I'm living my life somehow in the wrong way. When we're honest with ourselves, everyone, it's part of the human experience to feel anxiety and stress, to be sad, to feel joy. It's the whole spectrum of living a life on this earth, of walking our life's path. So we don't need to judge those emotions. We don't need to judge ourselves. There's no right and there's no wrong way to live. It really has opened up for me, looking at my body and my emotions as tools to help me gauge how I'm doing in the present moment. And that's really leading us into the last part, where mindfulness is all about creating a stronger connection with you, body, mind, and soul. It's creating a platform, a way for you to develop self-understanding and wisdom about who you are, who you want to be, what you want to do, what your purpose is in life, what choice you want, what's the next thing that you want to do. And today's choice may be different from yesterday's choice. No judging, it's living your mind, living your life from a place of love, compassion, understanding, and it really frees you up to create a life that's more balanced and that brings more happiness, stability, focus. And maybe that will bring us to the next slide, which kind of highlights what mindfulness has done for me and also what studies show mindfulness does. So it can bring more moments of peace and calm into your life. It helps you control your habitual thoughts, patterns, the self-talk that you have. And once you're aware of it, that awareness allows you to either continue with the self-talk or to change it. So that's that being purposeful in your choices. Instead of reacting constantly to what's happening around you, it allows you to be more of who you are and what you really want. Everyone thinks of mindfulness as managing stress and anxiety, which it does, and it's very powerful in doing that. It helps you improve your concentration and focus. Mindfulness isn't about multitasking. I know as professionals and as mothers and as people who do lots of different things, multitasking may be something that's difficult to give up, but maybe you can start thinking about moments in your life when you aren't going to multitask. It helps you become more productive. It can help you recognize and then act on what you want and take steps to make that happen in your life. And I think most importantly, It brings more love to your relationships with others, the world, and yourself. So with that said, I think we're going to move on to actually doing some mindful practice. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a breath exercise and we're going to do a walking meditation. And both of these things are maybe going to be 3 minutes, 4 minutes long. They're not very long. And I really want to emphasize this. To do a mindful practice and to it have an effect in your life, studies have shown that if you only do it for 30 seconds, 3 days a week, over a period of 4 weeks, it begins to shift how you deal with stress, how you even feel, how stressful the stress levels in your life, you feel that they drop. So it's 30 seconds a day, 3 days a week. So not huge time commitments. What we're going to do is breath work. And we're going to start with that because it's the core of mindful practice. If you do any kind of mindful class or workshop, breath work is always included in some way. And it's a really simple way to connect with yourself. What I want you to do is to kind of get comfortable in your chair, in your seat. I'd like you to have both of your feet flat on the floor. If you feel comfortable, take off your shoes so you're barefoot on the floor. Have both of your hands resting in your lap, either palms down or palms up. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And we're just going to start focusing on our breath. Just notice how the breath moves into your body and out of your body. You don't have to change how you're breathing. It's not a deep breath or a fast breath. It's your own rhythm. Just tune into that. Take note of where you feel this breath moving into your body. Do you feel it in your nose? Breathing in and out. Do you feel it in the back of your throat? In the rise or your abdomen? Good. Just stay here. Now we're going to take a minute where I'm just going to allow you to focus on that breath in and out. And if you find your thoughts wandering away from your breath, thinking about things that you have to do, just come back and focus again on your breath. The wandering mind is a natural thing. But each time you bring your attention back to the breath from those wandering thoughts, you're breaking that chaotic, fractured thought pattern and coming back to self. So just take a moment here and follow your breath. In and out. In and out. In and out. If you need a guide to help keep your thoughts with your breath, because you find your mind wandering off frequently, you can just use those words of in and out as you inhale and exhale. Good. So to close off the breath exercise, let's take one deep breath in and out. Open your eyes. How do you all feel? I hope that you feel a little bit more relaxed. It's natural to feel antsy and to feel jittery or to feel impatient. Melissa, I see you say I needed that. Yeah. It can be very relaxing, and all you need to do is just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths even, just to kind of settle down again. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take that attention that we just used to focus in on our breath and that breathing in and out. And we're going to use it now, and we're going to center our awareness on our body, movement of our body. So it's the same concept, but we're now doing it with standing and walking. So if you have the headphones on and you're somehow connected or wired to your laptop, you might want to take those off, and we're going to stand up. You need only like 3 feet of space. And we're just going to be taking a few steps forward, turning, and taking a few steps back, turning, and repeating that. Okay? So I'll give you all a little bit of time to stand up, find your space. Let me know if you can't hear me. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of get balanced on our feet. I like to take a deep breath in and release it. And I like to close my eyes before I start moving, because that helps me really focus in on my body more. I'm not distracted by what's going on around me. I can really sense my body that way. So if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Good. And I'm going to take another deep breath in and exhale. And I'm going to imagine energy flowing from the top of my head and down through my body, through my torso, and into my hips, and then down both my legs and into my feet, and from my feet into the ground below me, really anchoring me to the earth. Now I want you to bring your attention to your body's posture. How are you standing? Put your shoulders back, roll them back a little bit, stand up a little taller. Really feel that strength, that core strength that you have moving from the top of your head down your spine and then down both your legs. I have my feet about hip width apart to help me balance. And I'm starting to really sense how my feet are touching the ground, where my toes touch the ground, and the bottoms of my feet, my heels. I'm sensing the texture of the ground below me. So I'm standing on a rug and I'm really feeling that texture. How it's warming. It's not a cool tile floor. So really sense into the ground below you. What does it feel like on your feet? Good. Okay, so we're going to take one more deep breath in and exhale. And we're going to start to think about taking our first step. But we're going to do this slowly, purposefully, deliberately with awareness. So think about how your body is going to shift to allow you to make this step. So you're going to start lifting one heel up off the floor, and you'll be shifting your weight onto your other leg as you do this. And keep lifting that heel off the floor until it's just the balls of your feet and the toes touching the ground. And then you keep rolling your foot, shifting your weight onto that other foot, and now lifting your foot and taking that step. And feel how your foot plants onto the floor again. And notice how my other heel has started to come up. So I want you to be aware of every movement and what that feels like in your body. If you want to open your eyes from here, you can, and continue to just slowly take another step. Notice how your weight shifts from side to side. Then stop. Find your balance point again, both feet hip width apart on the floor. And we're going to do a pivot movement to turn and face the other direction. So again, you're going to shift your weight onto one foot, lift the other one up, step it out to the side, shift your weight onto that foot, lift all the way up to your toes, touching the ground, and then lift your foot and slowly turn. And just feel your body making those movements. Now, before you take another step in the other direction, find your balance, slow and purposeful. Good. Ready to take another step. A step. Feeling your feet and feel a little wobble and balance. And we're going to do one more pivot. Good. Now we're facing the other direction. Planting your feet on the ground, hip width apart. And just to end, let's take one more deep breath in and out. Good. And let's just take a moment to check in and see how we feel. Good. Okay. You can come back to your seats. Okay. It's one of my favorite mindful practices. And I actually like to do it outside when it's nice out barefoot so that I'm really connecting with the earth. And if you'd like, once you're used to connecting with the movement, you can start to feel the environment around you. So when I'm outside walking, I feel the sunshine on my body, or I feel the breeze moving, or I hear the birds chirping. So I hope that you notice a difference in how you feel. Maybe you feel a little calmer. You can let me know in the chat how you're doing, if you enjoyed it, or if it was something that you didn't quite connect with. That's okay too. What I really like to do in my teaching and in my workshops and mentoring, mindfulness is about living our lives in every moment for every individual. So that means I like walking mindfully, and you might enjoy doing other things mindfully, the coloring, or it could be I walk as mindfully, doing chores, household chores, vacuuming. It can be anything and everything. Every moment of your life can be filled with mindfulness. Good, good. I'm glad that it helped you connect a little bit. Yes, eating mindfully. See, Marissa loves eating mindfully. That is one of the most painful things for me to do, but it is such a powerful practice. So what I'd like to do is we'll pop up the next slide, which is how you can find some information. I have some free things for you. So one of the things is at the bottom of the slide, you see it says, what meditation practice suits you? It's a PDF that I have. And all of these things you can find on my website, which is the finding-dharma.com. And right on the home page, you'll see Women United and a little click box that you can click on, and I'll send you the What's Your Meditation Style PDF that kind of helps guide you through the different things that you enjoy doing, and then helps you narrow down what you might enjoy doing mindfully. And all you have to do is do the same practice as what we used with the breath and the walking. So it's an awareness, and it's a weeding out of all the other distractions. So you're not listening to music, for instance. When we did the mindful walking, we weren't listening to music. We were simply focusing only on walking. So I have that for you. Christina also put on there how to do a task mindfully. I'm starting a YouTube channel. And so I have something on there to go along with that PDF. I also want to let you know that the book with the chapter that I contributed, the collaborative book called The Great Pause, is going to be available on Amazon starting Friday for free. But it's for only a limited time period. So if you want to go on there, it's 25 spiritual teachers, speakers on all different topics feel free to also on my homepage, you can find information on that. So I think I will open it up to Q&A if there's any questions or any information. Yeah, the Calm app is really, it's interesting. There's so many mindfulness apps out there right now. The Calm app, and what's the other one? There's another one that people love too. I'm actually writing meditations right now for an app called MediMind, and they had a free 90-day trial, and it has hundreds of meditations on it as well. So if you want to look that up, you can. And I'm actually creating a mindfulness series right now where I'm going to be combining my YouTube channel with some booklets like journaling, reflective tasks. So there'll be a video, a booklet, and I'm writing meditations for them. So I'm going to be starting that in September, and all that will be on my website as well.
Christine, this is Rachel. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Terrific. I have heard or read somewhere that mindfulness is now becoming a key part of health and helping yourself get healthier. And I'm not just talking about eating healthier or slowing your heartbeat. I hear that people are using it to help offset the major problems that are like in ALS and MS and muscular issues and things. Can you speak about that for a minute?
Yeah, actually the app that I work for, MediMind, it was originally created to help people deal with like OxyContin and addictions. And then we branched out and started helping with cancer patients deal from diagnosis all the way through chemo to dealing with family and helping family deal with cancer and all that journey implies. So MediMind is working with Hartford Healthcare and a few other chiropractic centers. So it developed with John Kabat-Zinn using it actually with cancer patients, and it was a free trial. And these were terminal cancer patients. And so the idea was that they would use the mindfulness techniques to help them manage not only their physical pain that they were dealing with, but also the emotional pain and stress. And it really has a big impact on health and well-being. And in some instances, some studies show that it actually helps reverse the pain, the health issues, even chronic ones. And these are studies where they do it and they use a placebo versus the meditation and the mindful practices. And the mindful practices even help with psychological issues over the prescription drugs. They're more effective. So it really arches over everything. I think what it really speaks to is that so often in our lives, so even myself, speaking from myself, my own personal story is that I was in the professional world. I was a tenure track professor, and I was a mother of young children, married, career, moving forward. And I was extremely stressed out. And I was living a life that I didn't want to be living, but I never stopped to pause and even think about what was happening. And my body ended up telling me that something was wrong. It began with migraines. And 2 years later, I had a stroke. And it forced me to leave the profession because I can't read for extensive periods of time anymore. I still have lots of residual effects. So your body speaks to you, but we're told to just keep motoring through. And mindfulness is not about that. It's about connecting and allowing space for life and what's happening to you. Yeah, I'm just reading. I have some of the comments up. Yes, I am on Facebook. It's at Finding Dharma 13. And I do, I'm starting some guided meditations. So I've been writing guided meditations for the app, but I get a lot of them that I'm just inspired to write. And that's part of what YouTube is going to be, my YouTube channel. So are there any other questions? There's a question here, the presentation after the event, that I'm not sure about. Oh, that's Rachel telling everyone, yes, you'll get the presentation. Okay. All right, so if there are no more questions, I want to thank all of you. I hope I was able to give you back just a little bit of what you give out to the world every day. I was so inspired to hear about all the work that you do and to meet all of you, and I want to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity.
Great. Thank you so much, Christine, for that amazing, beautiful journey that we just experienced over the last 15, 20 minutes. It certainly was an emotional journey and definitely one that I think everybody can resonate with to some degree and learned a lot today. So very grateful that you were here with us today and joining our workshop. I'd like to talk to you all today about what the Lead Hers series is about. And the goal for this year-long series is to create an experience for members to meet, share insights, empower each other, learn as well as support each other throughout health and wellness topics as a key to leadership. So this is our first series today that we kicked off the 2020-2021 year-long health and wellness topics. Throughout the year, we will explore various topics on women's health to connect with each other. There will be 2 parts to the series. One will be a quarterly 1-hour virtual event such as today, featuring a guest speaker who is an expert on a specific topic that will be held as described earlier today, November, February, and May. In addition, throughout the year, we're going to also have cohorts called leaders. And within that will be 6 to 10 women assigned in these cohorts based on your responses in the questionnaire that you may have received throughout the last couple of weeks from United Way. We will have a leadership member to dive deeper and learn from each other. So we're looking at these nice, small, intimate groups as we've defined them as leaders. Leaders cohorts will rotate every quarter to allow all members to learn from each other, to share, and to grow from one another as we develop our leadership skills, as well as cultivating our women's health and wellness together. I would like to thank you all for attending today's workshop. And if you have any final questions or comments, please put them in the chat box for Rachel or for Sandy to ask anybody here on the panel today. Again, we thank you for your valuable time today and have a great day.